I am in Florida making a California Common in what weather feels like it should be in Alaska. This is another one of the 10 styles that I am trying out in this next set of videos, and I am naming this Harvester after about the only good thing in a pretty wise, lackluster movie that should have been not. So that is what we're doing, and that starts right now. This is Matt from Big Monster Brewing, and this is Harvester, the California Common beer that I am trying this recipe for the very first time. And it all starts with the water, so let's get to it. 2.55 gallons of strike water on the stove right here. Grain bill on this is pretty common from what I've been reading about the style, so I'm just going to read it off real quick and then measure it out. It's 2.44 pounds of two-row, 0.45 pounds of Crystal 40, and 0.1 pound of Munich Light. That's it. Nothing too exotic, nothing too exciting. And I'm going to go ahead and weigh those out now. It's whisper quiet. The boil schedule and the hops, that's actually even less exotic than the grist, and I'll read that off too. It is 0.12 ounces of Northern Brewer at 60 minutes, 0.15 ounces of Northern Brewer at 15 minutes, 0.15 ounces of Northern Brewer at 1 minute. That's it. I'm going to get those together now too. We're actually taking the temperature of the grain now, which just got to focus. About 71.9, almost 72. It's 71.8. I'd take the camera away. So we're going to take that number. We've already figured out everything else about the brew water. So let's put that number in. I guessed it was 70 to start with. So put in 72, exit out of that field, and there's the amount we have right there. We need to get it up to 158 degrees because this 72 degree, wow, these color changes are really, the camera's not happy with it. What was I saying? Oh, the 72 degree grist is going to drop it to our, oh, that's not right. Where is it? Oh, it's up here. That's funny. I'll tell you why that's funny, why I thought that's what it was. To our strike temperature, which is 153. See how that was 1.53, so I got confused. So 153, 152, where is it? 153, 152, 154, even anything 150 to 155 I'll be happy with. So what are we at now? We're at 155, so it's almost time. So I'm going to get ready to turn this off. In fact, I'm going to turn it off now, see how much it raises, see how much hotter it gets, and then get the water here into the bag tin. We're all sealed up, ready to go. At the timer going, hour mash. And when I was doing that, I had this strange feeling like I was forgetting something. Like maybe I forgot to take the thermometer out when I was measuring the grain temperature. So that's what one of these thermometers look like when you pour 158 degree water directly on it. And it was one of those things where I saw it, and it was as fast as I could move. It still wasn't fast enough. I guess some water got in it. But luckily, as you can see, it's not a Thermapen. That's why I don't buy expensive things. This is why I can't have nice things, because of me. That's why I can't have them. So I guess I'm going to go on Amazon while this is mashing in. The iodine test looks good. I think we're converted. I think I can get this out and start Orloffing. I never really got this too well on camera before. Let's see if I can get this. I usually have the camera in my hand. This time I got it on a tripod as high as it'll go. Let's see if I can get this on camera for once in a good shot. Yeah, not bad. All right, gonna do the Vorloff now. This I've gotten montage shots of before, but it's, I think, pretty self-explanatory. You can't see what I'm doing now. You might be able to hear it. I am draining, I guess is a better word, draining some of this sweet wort into a 5 cup or 1 quart measuring cup. The measurement doesn't really matter. I'm just noting it because I'm going to do it 4 or 5 times. So it's going to be about a gallon of sweet wort that I'm going to boil off through the grain bag here, much like you would in a mash tun if the grain bed was on a false bottom. So same principle, gets the bigger chunks out, some of the grains. In fact, you can kind of see maybe in that. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to give that a quick rinse and do this. Like I said, another 3 or 4 of these, 5 altogether, 4 or 5 altogether. About a gallon of it. And that usually clears it up enough to transfer it into the boil kettle. And here's the 5th one, and it may look a little clearer. I'll have to see when I put the footage side by side. It doesn't always get crystal clear, like a pumping a ton of the wort through and through again, like I do on my 5-gallon batches. Sometimes it does, but not always. And this is one of the times it just didn't get crystal clear. So I'm gonna let this sit for 10 minutes, let everything drain out, and then it's time to get that sweet wort into the kettle. Okay, it's been 10 minutes and this is pretty well drained. I hear a drip every once in I don't know how many seconds, enough that I can keep going here. So I did find a piece of hose finally. It's a little too short to reach the floor safely. It's a little too long, as you can see, just put in the kettle. And this box is some of my brewing gear. This lid should hold it. We're gonna find out. So let's open up the spigot here and put the sweet wort in. So taking a look at it, I was a little worried about the color when I was stirring the grains during the mash, but it looks like the color's getting there. Maybe after boil it'll darken up a little bit. We'll see. Got it on the burner and almost have it full bore, have it 9 out of 10. I find that if I actually get this up to a boil on a 10, it gets real close to boil over and does not cool down quick. 9, I mean, it gets close to boil over, but if I dial that down to 7 or 6, it goes down right away. So that's just a waiting game at this point. Once this gets boiling, simple 60-minute boil with 3 hop additions, and that will start shortly, I hope. While this is waiting to boil, I'm going to say the color's growing on me, although now that I've got a glimpse of the reflection of the oven hood, which now you do too, that I pointed out, that's all I can see. But otherwise, that's all I can see through the camera. Looking at it with my naked eye, the color is much closer than I initially thought it was looking in the mash. But I don't know how to, that's going to help. Hi. Yeah. Well, we'll take a real good look at it when it's all said and done. This is where I gotta start keeping a real close watch because it could boil over any second. Keep an eye on it, like not filming. Right, we're almost at the boil and the roll. Once it kicks up, I'm gonna give it a minute to make sure the temperature's not rising even more and we got to boil over. Now you can see we got a good roll going now, and I immediately cranked it down to 7, and it's still really, what's that, vigorous? Yeah, vigorous. I was gonna say aggressive, but vigorous is probably the word, even at 7. So I'm gonna adjust this a little more. I had turned down another full notch and waited a little bit, and it's still going pretty good. It's just a little over what I want. I think I'm gonna go with that and start, because I think if I take it down more, it might be a little too low and it might take some time to get up. So I have got the timer almost set, so there we go. I'm gonna drop the first hops in, all Northern Brewer, so that's in. I'll start the timer now. And there, it did calm down a little, which I thought it might. The hops are room temperature, so this is like, 212 degrees, and that was 76, 78. Actually, I think the room's more like 72 right now with this weather, but that dropped it. I think that knocked it down right where I want it, so I think we're good. I'm going to keep a close eye on this for another few minutes before I walk away from it to finish up some cleaning, but I think we are, definitely in the boil because the timer is running. We're at the 15-minute mark, and there's another addition of Northern Brewer going in. And along with that, I got this little chunk of Warflock. It's less than I usually do. I've been doing quarters, but I think that's more than I need. Not that it seems to affect the beer, but why waste the supplies when I don't need to? Of course, this is coming from the guy that puts all his hops in muslin bags, so take that for what it's worth. And the last addition, 1 minute, one more, Northern Brewer Edition. Now, just gotta wait out that last 50 seconds now, and then take it off the heat, chill it down, and pitch the yeast. I have got my bottle of Harvester California Common. I've got my bottle opener, which, oh, no matter what to do, it's upside down. I have my glass, and I also have the printout of the California Common description entry in the BJCP guidelines, because I've had the probably granddaddy of them all, Anchor Steam beer before. I think anybody that's a beer fan has had it. I just haven't had it since brewing this, so I'm going to kind of refer to this to see where I'm at on this beer without going too long in this review, which they tend to draw on and on. First thing I'm curious about is the carbonation, because I did open one of these last night, not for a review, but I was just chit-chatting, actually text-chatting, if that's a thing, with a friend of mine. I was like, you know what, I really want to see what the California Common's like, because we're talking about beer and this beer style challenge I did, and that thing was flat, flatter than the earth, if you're a flat earth theorist. I'm not saying I am, not saying I'm not, just saying if you believe it, that's how flat that beer was. Hopefully it was just that bottle. I'm about to find out. It has a hiss, but the bottle last night had a hiss too. Doesn't mean anything. I do see some gas rolling off it. That's probably a better sign. Let's see. Here, hold it better to the camera. I can't remember where we were at on like this time in the pour, but I'm thinking, looks like that head is going to die really quick. The bubbles are not super big, but they're certainly not fine. Nope, that is going down. That is about to go completely flat. Somewhere I did something wrong. I'm not sure what, but let's see what we have otherwise. Let's see. We'll jump right into appearance. And medium amber to light copper color, generally clear, moderate off-white head with good retention. Wish I hadn't read that part. As far as the rest of it goes, I think the color's right. I think the clarity's okay. I did kind of do a second pour there. I wish I hadn't, because it might be a little clearer. So I might have got some sediment that stirred up, but it could be clearer. Let's see. Let's jump to aroma, or jump back up to aroma. Showcases rustic, traditional American hops, often with woody, rustic, or minty qualities, in moderate to high strength. Light fruitiness acceptable, low to moderate caramel and or toasty malt or aromatics support the hops. So I don't know if I'm even going to get much aroma, because that, like as predicted, I don't know if you can even see. It's the lens is on this side. It's hard to tilt this without spilling it on the table. It's got no head and no head retention, but let's see what I can get from the aromas. I am getting some hop aroma and some malt aroma. It's kind of a nice little balance between the two. For the hop aroma specifically, kind of getting a little bit of a very hint of a piney, just a little bit of pine, followed with kind of an herbal aroma of some sort, with that underlying hop that almost every hop has. For the malt aroma, it's just no toast, but a little bit of sweet aromatic, nothing real specific other than maybe a little bit of a caramel malt taste. I'll read the taste and I'll taste it, but I think everybody watching knows this is not going to competition. It cannot go to competition like that, but let's find out what we got here. Flavor, moderately malty with a pronounced hop bitterness. The malt character is usually toasty, not roasted, and caramely. Low to moderately high hop flavor, usually showing rustic, traditional American hop qualities, often woody, rustic, minty. Finish fairly dry and crisp with a lingering hop bitterness and a firm, grainy malt flavor. Light fruity esters are acceptable, but otherwise clean. So let's see if we got something out of this that could possibly be scored. As far as the malt profile goes, I mean, the caramel's definitely there without being too much. Not getting too much toasted, or is it toasted or roasted? Toasty, not roasted. I'm not getting either, so it doesn't really matter. As far as the hops go, they're actually quite pleasant. This is not by any means too bitter. It's just enough bitterness, actually. It's almost light enough to be refreshing. There is a little bit of kind of a woodiness to the hops, a little bit of the pine is kind of there. It's almost like a little bit of a twang, almost not a sour, but kind of that the little bit of your tongue. The taste comes across. A little bit of floral too. There's almost a pleasant sweetness to the hops. That's definitely from the hops and not from the malts. And I would characterize that more as a floral without being perfumey. So like I said, the really sad part about it is that none of those flavors, I think, are being presented the way they should, because there is no carbonation. I don't know what I did. I might have possibly mismeasured the sugar. I guess there's a possibility it like attenuated super high and there wasn't enough. I should have pitched a little more yeast to bottle condition it. I'm not sure. I'm not giving up, but I'm not doing this the same way again. I might do this recipe again, but I might do it on a bigger batch where I can throw it in a keg. I think the smallest kegs I have right now, I know are 2.5 gallons. So I could pour, do a small batch, 2.5 gallons. Actually, I might even do a 5 gallon and split batch it between bottles of varying different sugar amounts, or maybe different sugars. But some way to get this to the carbonation level it needs to be to taste what's really going on. Otherwise, I'm not catching any flaws. I thought I had a little kind of a diacetyl taste there, but that was kind of like the first on the first sip, and it kind of washed my palate away, and I'm not getting it again. I'm really looking for it. I'm not getting any other off flavors. I'm curious if I'm going to get more over time, especially oxidation, because I'm not sure. I mean, now I don't think it's a bottle sealing thing, because 2 bottles are that way. I think it was a mistake somewhere else. But I'm going to hold on to the other bottles, maybe taste 1 or 2 down the line and see if there's any other off flavors apart from, or any other really big flaws apart from the carbonation, just so I know what's in that recipe. But dang, I'm actually a little upset. I was really looking forward to my first California Common, and apart from the carbonation, I mean, it's now you can really see. Now I can tilt the glass. I don't know why I don't think the lens is on that side. I can really tilt the glass now, and you see it is flat. So I'll still finish this off. It still is a drinkable drink, but it's not going anywhere. Definitely not going to competition, and I'm not going to be sharing it with anybody. So that'll do it for this episode. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like the video, share if you want to show off what a incredibly flat beer looks like. Comment if you think, maybe if you have experience, the same experience, and you've narrowed it down and you did the right sugars, like I think I did, I'm not entirely sure, and you discovered what the problem was, please put it in the comments, because I'd love any more information to figure out what happened here. And also hit that alarm bell so you're notified when the other episodes of this series are released. I think the only thing I've left to do is thank you for watching and say I will see you in that next episode.